All right, now to this stunt that is getting a lot of attention, and you'll see why. Conservationist Paul Rosolie set out to be eaten alive by a green anaconda, the world's largest and most powerful snake. It's a mission through the Amazon that was documented in a new Discovery Channel special. Take a look.
And Paul Rosolie is with us now. Paul, good morning. Nice to see you. So a bunch of guys sitting around a table trying to come up with crazy ideas for a television special, and someone says, I know, maybe we could have a guy eaten by a snake pass the bong. How does that go?
It actually started with me watching rainforests get burned and getting really frustrated that people weren't as excited about it as I was, and just going, I want to do something that's just going to grab people's attention.
Oh, okay, so that raises the question, what ideas got discarded? What were on the cutting room floor? Because getting eaten alive by a snake, wow.
Well, people have tried everything else, you know, and I mean, every year, as you know, I work down there, year after year, you see this habitat being destroyed, and I've worked with anacondas for 5 years now. So I know a lot about the species, and I know how scared people are of giant snakes. So.
Even though it seems like your heart is in the right place here, you're trying to preserve the forest, there are a lot of people saying this is not the way to go about it. PETA, the folks at PETA, I'm paraphrasing, say this is basically harming this snake, and you shouldn't be doing this. How do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, I'm actually the guy that's down there protecting these animals and protecting the ecosystem. So I know a lot about anacondas. I would never hurt one. But what's cool about PETA is that 35,000 people in a week came out to support a snake, and usually snakes are the villains. So I actually thought it was really cool that so many people spoke up in support of a snake.
Well, let's talk about this whole situation. So you set out to find the anaconda.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, and you were looking for one of sufficient size.
Yeah.
How big was the anaconda you eventually?
We ended up catching one that was about 20 feet.
Okay.
Which is not easy to do.
And how do you go about getting yourself in position to be eaten?
Well, that was a long process. I mean, we had to design a suit that could withstand the crush. I mean, an anaconda, you know, they latch on with their bite and then they crush, and that's how they kill their prey before they swallow it. So I had to be able to survive the crush part. So we had a carbon fiber suit designed, and then we made sure that I'd be able to breathe in case I actually did make it inside the anaconda. And then we put pig's blood on the outside to make me as appealing as possible, make me smell like a prey item to this snake.
How does an anaconda go about swallowing a human being of your size? Is that head first? Is that feet first? How does that generally go down?
Well, you got to go head first. You know, feet first, you'd be a little bit head first. Everything is very streamlined. And whether it's a deer or a crocodile or a mouse, when snakes eat, they almost always eat head first because that's the way it goes smooth. So for me, you got to go head first.
So what was it like as your head was going down that snake's throat?
Well, it was a difficult thing it was such a stressful, you know, my heart was going like this. The last thing I remember is seeing the snake's mouth open straight at my face. Everything went black, and then I just felt, it was like being caught in a wave. It was just wrapped up, and just you feel that crush. And I just, you know, for over an hour I was being constricted, and then...
What could you see? Could you hear?
I couldn't see. I couldn't hear much, and I just had a like I was radioing back to people, telling them that I was alive.
This is weird, but could you smell? I can't imagine it was a pleasant.
I don't remember smelling anything. That wasn't important at the moment.
And it just reminds me of one of those bizarre moments from Marlon Perkins on Mutual Omaha's. So the team is now outside watching. You're doing great, Paul. You know, hang in there.
They're going, can you still breathe? Are you okay? They're checking in, making sure I'm okay. We had veterinarians on site to make sure that the snake was okay. I mean, the snake was messing me up. But there are people making sure that nothing got out of control, that neither me or the snake got hurt.
Well, because that's one of the things that Matt mentions PETA, but some people are saying, okay, an anaconda expends all this energy to ingest something of your size and then ultimately gets no meal. Is that harmful to the snake?
I mean, it could be, especially for a wild snake. Like if you deprive it of a food source, and then it has to go back out and then reinvest that time in trying to find something to eat. But we had vets on site. We took very good care of the snake. We made sure that she was healthy.
Real quick, how'd you get out?
Very carefully.
They don't tell you how the tightrope walker, makes it across. You got to watch on Sunday.
Okay, Paul, it's bizarre. It's completely bizarre.
I'll do
but I'm
anything to
glad
keep
you're
the
here
tree
on the
standing.
couch.
By the way, your wife was there watching, right?
My wife was there jumping on the snakes with us in the Amazon. She was there watching me while I was in the suit, keeping everybody else calm, going, Paul will be fine.
And by the way,
She was
hosing
not
you
worried.
down before
Yeah.
you set foot in the house.
Just want to make sure she wasn't rooting for the snake. Paul, Rosolie, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Eaten Alive airs on the Discovery Channel this Sunday at 9 Eastern and Pacific.